Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Compelling Conversations podcast. Today, I'm honored to be joined by my friend Huzaifa. Huzaifa, thanks so much for being here, man.
Hey, I appreciate you having me here. I know we've been talking about doing this for a while. I'm glad we could work out between our schedules to do this today.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you joining us from?
Boring old Houston. I'm sitting at home right now, specifically in spring. But yeah, I haven't been anywhere for the past month or but I want to travel
That's
soon,
cool.
soon.
Nice, nice. I wanted to begin by asking you, is there a part of yourself that's gone that you miss?
That's a very good question. A part of myself that's gone. I think we as innately as human beings have a curiosity within us that we have when we're children, and I feel that as I've been growing older, each year I just feel the creative process that we have as a child, it starts slipping away slowly. I think that's definitely not really impacted my work, but it's just you see children, and I have a 4 year old brother. He's so you see them like picking up new activities, learning new things, and you just like, wow, how do they do it? They're learning so quickly. They're picking up and grasping things as if it's nothing, and that's definitely I think one thing.
Wow.
I hope that answered.
When do you think you lost that part of yourself?
I don't think it's like a specific time. As I said, it's been through the maturation process, I guess. Um, each year you just slowly, as you're in a systematic world, you're living day by doing the same thing. You're accustomed to this habitual life. You start losing a piece of that creativity and that curiosity that you have as a child. I think it's just a slow process, but over time.
Hmm. Why do you miss that part, though, of yourself? What about it is so
What about
attractive?
it? Well, I know growing up, I always enjoyed like sketching and drawing and just life nowadays. It's too I don't know the right word to put it. You're focused on other things that you think are more important, that you lose um time for the habits that you used to enjoy, and the things that were more the creative part of your personality. And for me, that was that specifically.
Wow. That is interesting, 'Cause it's making me think like, what about that thing that is gone is like, what about it makes it attractive? Because then it makes me wonder personally, like about myself, like something about myself that I miss. Why do I miss it? Well, what is that thing that makes it so attractive to me? Does that mean that missing things are attractive? I don't know. Like
It's
that's something I
interesting.
have to think about?
Well, I think it really just, if it like it comes down to how you're judging the activity itself. I mean, if I even honestly, I think if I were to be honest to myself, I would not have probably made it anywhere with artistry, but it was still a
What?
passion. I don't know.
Interesting. Interesting.
I think my work is good enough, but I don't think I can compete with the amount of talent there is out there. So
Hmm.
maybe that's part of the reason why it started slipping away, because I realized it's not something I could focus my attention on and actually gain something from. If
So
that
you,
makes
but
sense.
yeah, no, that's interesting. So you think like the things that you kind of let go of, the things that kind of leave you are things that, well, what would you call that?
Well, those are the things that you enjoy doing, but you don't really see an end result from, or a really any reason as to why you're doing it besides just passion itself. And sometimes
Interesting.
passion itself, if you work hard enough, I mean, if you work hard enough in any area, I think you can become really big in that, subject matter. But I think part of me realized that I don't know, it's a societal system, it's family, what we're ingrained with as children and as we see society growing up. You see everyone going to school, focusing on their studies, and it's only the rare few that make it out with doing something different.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very interesting thing. Everything you brought up is very fascinating because then it makes me also think, like that thing leaves you, right? So it's like you already had it once upon a time, but
Yeah,
you still miss it. You're still attracted to it. It's just something really fascinating for me to think about. So I'm definitely going to be thinking about those things. I appreciate you bringing that to the table.
of course.
But I'm
I love
curious,
talking
what
like this,
would you say?
engaging engaging in conversation like this, invoking thought and curiosity.
Yeah, no, certainly. I'm
Yeah.
curious what it is that nourishes you now.
Um, I'm at the stage in my life, where I'm like about to be getting out of college, starting a full responsibility as working in the workforce, joining the actual adult life. You say you become an adult when you turn 18. You're not really an adult. You don't have much responsibilities, but it's when you leave the education system, college itself, that you realize, this is the actual world. I gotta step into it and see what it's actually about. Not really sheltered by an environment that you're used to.
Do you have responsibilities now?
Well, a little bit. I try to help out financially at home. I'm doing an internship this semester, alhamdulillah. And it's been good. It's a paid internship, so I try to contribute as best as I can financially to help my family as well. Um, I mean that in no way to brag or anything like that, but it's just our parents have done so much for us. We owe it to them, to bear responsibility for that a little bit,
Yes.
as much as we can.
Yeah. I was discussing with my English teacher the other day how I feel there's this concept, it's called Puritanus, and like in the Latin it means, like child God, or like in modern terms like man child. And I feel like everyone that's growing up, they have like a man child or like a woman child in them,
Mm,
that kind of refuses to grow up a little. But I feel like that thing kind of has like, I don't want to sound pretentious, but I feel like it has perhaps um died in me or something like that. And what I find, like for myself, what is beginning to say nourish me is a sense of responsibility, or at least a craving to have
yeah,
responsibility. And you mentioned, parents, and it's like I look at my parents and I genuinely think like, wow, like I really owe it to these people. I
definitely.
really owe it to these people.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This society that we live in, I don't want to say any bad, but you see people, getting out of their house, leaving their parents at 18, all that they've done for the 18 years of your life. They fed you, they've housed you, they've done so much for you. You're just abandoning them and, doing your own thing, not really even checking up on them and seeing what they're up to, putting them in nursing homes. I don't really agree with that type of culture at all. It's wrong. It's not justified by any means.
Yeah, it's kind of tragic because maybe you can relate too, but I mean neither of us are old, but as you kind of like start to mature a little, you realize like what, and you start looking at like younger people, are like, oh wow, like that was me once upon a time and not
Yeah,
anymore. And then you wonder like, how far can I take this? How far will I go? Will I
mm,
even become an old person? And I guess it kind of gives you a new lens on old people. Like, wow, they have a lot of experience. They've witnessed a lot, gone through a lot.
That's true.
Survivors, quite literally.
They've
Yeah.
seen little events, that you have not been alive for. And
Yes, yes. I
then
was
what more can you say than that? You know?
yeah, I was driving somewhere and I just see this old lady like walking, like on the street. And I'm like, that lady, like she's been on Earth long enough to have like seen Kurt Cobain's like success and his death
Yeah,
and everything back. It's like, wow, like to me that would be something like, I mean not
exactly. Oh, it's
ancient, not really ancient, but like old, and it's like that lady saw that and she saw stuff before that too, it's like, wow,
it just tells you
crazy.
how much wisdom and knowledge they bring to the table and how much respect they garner from society and how much they're neglected as well just because of their age and they foster us as children, our parents, and we don't have anyone else besides them that could take care of us. No one is willing to if it's not our parents. And when they need our help at a sensitive age, when they can't take care of themselves, and you're not there, what did their service to you? What was the point of their service to you? The time and effort
Yes.
they put into you.
Yeah. What do you think is the best way to serve parents?
The best way.
In your opinion, yeah.
I mean, it just comes down to your situation, um, personally, and I think like if you're at a financial stage to be able to assist your parents in any way, I started working at an age of 14. Just for fun, just because I wanted to see how it is. I used to live in New York. I started as a waiter basically, and I remember the first payment that I got for the work that I'd done. I went and gave to my parents, because I felt so happy, and
Wow.
it's always that feeling of giving back, and it's you're not really paying back for anything. It's just you're contributing, you're helping. But that's just one area you can help in. There's so much that you could do. You could, if you have siblings, take care of them and relieve some tension from like if you have younger siblings, or if you take care of chores around the house, mow the lawn or something. I don't know. It's simple things, and it could really help out. You never know how much your parent they appreciate it much more than you realize, and they probably express it too. But it gives you a sense of joy and contentment as well when you do it.
Yeah. You know, Huzaifa, you're one of like the nicest guys I know. Like you have a very kind energy about you. Anytime I run into you, you have like that light about you. That we talked about this one time,
I
like the
really
vibes
appreciate it.
in
Yeah, you,
person.
you have, and I really appreciate whenever you bring it up. It
Yes.
really it makes my heart fill up, bro.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's real too, so I really appreciate that about you. I'm curious, like, where does that come from for you, do you think?
um I just like, well, I don't see a sense in anger or just being, discontent towards other people. If you have problems going on in your life and you're taking it out on other people, you're only creating problems for more people. If you're able to deal with those problems, and even if you have to put on a persona of happiness, and it's doing, if you're doing good for other people by showing contentment, because even a smile is charity in our religion, right? You could do so much with just a smile. You can make someone's entire day by just giving them a smile. You never know who you're affecting.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that you said that. That is profound. Yeah. I know you're a guy that really likes to travel, and you've
Yes.
shared some of your adventures with me as well. Do you think that there's like a particular story in one of your adventures that has shaped you the most?
Mm. Definitely, yeah. Well, I've been to this place twice, and I'm grateful, alhamdulillah, that I've been with my family. I've been to Umrah when I was like in the sixth, or after coming out of the sixth grade, and then I went again like after after I finished off middle school. So I've been twice, and it's the first time I went, I was very young compared to when I went the second time. So it was dramatic experience for me. I realized the profundity of the event, and just the the feeling was awe-inspiring of being in front
What
of.
did it do to you?
What did it do to me? Well, I realized how just one religion and one call to God from God can bring people of so much culture, so much different uh backgrounds and ethnicities come together and worship one God. It's nothing else in the world can do something like that, and it's made me more appreciative of different people, and it's made me more appreciative of learning more about people and getting to know, because everyone brings a whole different story to the table. Everyone's a book of experiences and a wealth of knowledge, and you're gaining something from everyone. So that experience really opened my eyes to that.
Yes, yes. And I like how you said that, we're all a book of experiences. We're also books of carrying like I guess pages of different people in us too. It's
Yeah.
like you might not like talk to someone anymore, but that person's something that they did in your life had an effect on you and you still carry it with you. If you could like think about like one particular person that you still like really carry on, like that effect still carries on to you, who would that person be, if you don't mind me asking, and why?
No, no, of course. So this person is my aunt, and my aunt from my mother's sister. She passed away a couple of years ago, and she
Mm.
was the literal second mother that I had. And I learned character from her. I learned how to be a good host from her, and I learned my religion partly from her too. And her loss was very tragic for the entire family, and she's left behind children as well that live in Pakistan. We're hoping there's some way that they're able to come here, inshallah, one day. But yeah, definitely my aunt.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think like when you're interacting with people, what do you what's your best guess? What are you leaving with them?
What am I leaving with them? So it doesn't matter to me what level of interaction that we've had before. If it's our first time communicating, if it's our, you know, 10,000th time communicating, I'm gonna be the same person. I'm gonna bring the same energy. I'm always a nice person to be around. I think I always try to cheer people on, make people around me happy. So yeah.
I like that. Yeah. I see you skateboarding all the time. I see you. What's that do for you? What
Um,
has it taught you?
what has it taught me? Well, let me answer the first part. What does it do for me? Um, so whenever I feel like I'm at a point in my day that I feel like I'm doing too much or I'm burnt out, I like the release that it gives me, just this alleviation of all the tension that I've held for the day, and just a sense of freedom, and just when you feel the breeze on you, just skating through, and you're just trying to cruise through the path, try to avoid falling down. It's a whole journey every time, I feel like, and never gets old.
Mm. So what
Have
has it taught you?
What has it taught me? Um, this experience picking up skateboarding was a path of failures, many failures, and I've had many dangerous falls as well. Cracked my phone like over 8 times. That
Hmm.
was my last phone. This one
You ever
I've cracked.
cry when that happened?
I've cried, yeah, but like thankfully for the first 8 times that it happened, my friend, he hooked it up. He used to work with screen repair.
Yeah.
Um, but this last time that it happened, it was pretty hefty to my and it hit a bullet hit through my wallet when I found out how much it was gonna cost.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked that because when I first cracked my phone, I cried like, damn, it's done.
Yeah, so
So
I didn't finish off. So I was
yeah, go
gonna say
ahead.
it was as a path of many failures, trying to just pick up skateboarding in general, just cruising, and then you pick up interest over time, and then you're wanting to learn more. So
Yeah.
not wanting to give up because of the failures and continuing to strive against your failures and wanting to learn. That's one lesson that I've learned from it. And then seeking more than what you have right now. So I've learned to do an ollie on a cruiser board, which is kind of hard because all my trucks are loose and the wheels they're not really meant for performing tricks, I would say. But that's pretty good for me, even though I can't really do it moving. But I want to be able to do more. I want to learn to be able to do a kickflip, a pop shove it, eventually grind down rails on stairs or something. I don't know. But that's what it's taught. It's given me a drive. I don't know for learning more, I guess.
Do you ever have moments of quietness
Um,
where you just kind of like sit there and you don't say anything to anyone?
oh yeah, all the time. I think um this I try to at least do this or I don't like purposely do it. I think I do have moments throughout the day sometimes when there's me just by myself contemplating on how the day has been or how contemplating on what I've encountered throughout the day, what I've read in the news or something like that. But definitely I'm contemplating all the time. We're just thinking on in my own thoughts constantly, I would say.
Yeah. Does that free you or does it cage you? You think?
I think I get free from just the. I think we as human beings have lost, or I've been saying this a lot, but I think social media and the world of the internet has really driven us away from the ability to think as much as we used to before, and we've really just been handed down ideas by other institutions that want us to believe in certain things and stuff like that. I don't want to get too deep into this topic, but you know what I mean. But I think the idea of free thought and just being able to think is what we as human beings are meant for and what we enjoy as well. So I definitely feel free when I'm in my thoughts.
Mm, yeah, I like that you mentioned that because these days especially I've been feeling like uh my mind is like fried all day, going from screen to screen to screen.
Oh yeah,
Be it like laptop or your phone or the TV or
exactly.
projector in class or something like that. And it's just like throughout the whole day your mind is just being fried. And then like you kind of go to sleep and in that sleep is that moment of peace, that freedom. But then what happens? You have to wake up and
It
check your
feels so
phone.
sudden, and when
Yeah,
you
and it's
close your eyes, it's the next day, same cycle again,
yes, and
one
it's
screen to
it's
another.
oh my goodness, like I it's something I've been really reflecting on lately because in the beginning I asked you that question, is there a part of yourself that's gone that you miss? And for me, there's a part of myself that's gone that I miss, and it has something to do with that. Like before it
We
wasn't very
all went
difficult for
through. I
me.
mean, even our age has been through the times where the iPhone didn't exist. We had times where we weren't shut down when we were crying, just handed down iPads and phones to shut us up when we're crying and calm us down. That's how the world's going now, but I think that's really a dangerous place to be heading right now.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and but yeah, a part of myself that I miss is I had this sort of ability to just like take a sabbatical, so to speak, from like my phone, and I could just kind of enjoy the world. Be like, oh yeah, 6 months I was just kind of gone. But now it's become like I'm so into it, and it's kind of like it's I hope this isn't a cliche excuse, but it's like this is kind of like the trajectory the world's headed in. So it's becoming a little difficult to kind of evade that if you still want to stay in the loop, so to speak. I don't know if that's an accurate statement, but it's
Uh,
something I've been reflecting on lately.
I was watching this. It's funny that you mentioned this because I was watching this stand-up comedian Aziz Ansari, and he had this new special, or at the time when we were watching, it was new, but he talked about how the exact same problem, you're on your phone all the time, you're so dependent on it, and you just really have to commit to it. And what he did was he switched over to a flip phone.
Hmm.
When you really think about it, what purposes do we need our phone for? All those things can be satisfied without it. We need a map to get around. You can get a GPS. You need to listen to music. There's iTunes, or you could get a stereo or something. You don't really need it. It's now that it's the dopamine release that we get from our presence on social media, which is really fake, if I may say so myself. Social media, I don't believe in the presence of it. I tried to limit my use of it as much as I can. I deactivated my Instagram. The deactivation is temporary, but I deactivated for a week. I needed it again, because for one of my orgs that I'm involved in, but it really is um a
Yeah.
matter.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's so funny you mentioned that because that's another thing I've been thinking. It's like I come to school and I miss all these events because I didn't check social media. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, if I want to
And
join the party, I have to
that's
kind of
the
be
only
there.
reason that I had to log back in. And the deactivation works in a way where you're hidden from everyone, and your profile is still like it's still there, but you're not present to anyone. So everyone thinks you're deleted. So once you log back in, now you're visible to everyone.
Mm,
But that's what happened. So I wanted to go in and check on one of the events because I wasn't sure when that was happening. And now I was trying to deactivate it again today, because you can only like deactivate it once a week. But I thought it's been more than a week, and it gave me the message where I couldn't do it because it's been less than a week somehow.
mm.
I don't know. I think it's the system just glitching.
Do you ever have those days where you spend so much time on technology, principally your phone, your mind is fried, and then you go to bed because your body just demands it. And then you wake up and then all of a sudden it's kind of like one of those scenes where like you're in a hospital bed and you like, well, it's like you're drugging yourself up. Like getting your phone is like drugging yourself up, right? Like putting in
Well,
the needle. It's
it's
like
it's
plugged
an
in and then
addiction. It is an addiction the way you're
yes, and
describing it.
then it's just like you just stare at it all day and it's like that's it. That's it. It's insane.
There's nothing more to be said about it. It's insane, but it's become such a routine part of us that we don't realize how insane that it is and how much it's affecting us. I look at my time used on the phone, and it's weeks where I have 6 hours, weeks where I have 3 hours. It's varied, but even 6, 7 hours on a phone, that's like a third of your day, and you're just wasting it away on the phone. You could be making progress in so many things in other areas of your life. And I'm speaking for myself first and foremost, but that's just how it is now. And it's hard. It's with as with any addiction, it's hard to get over it, and you really have to commit to it.
Yes. I had a friend, and he had told me once, like, 40 years down the line, what are you gonna do looking back? Oh yeah, I spent, 4 hours a day on like social media or YouTube. And like, how are you gonna think about that? Like, wow, I spent 4 hours a day on that. It's like something to really think about. It's a bit uh dementing, I guess, so to speak. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Harry Potter and the Dementors and how they suck your soul. It's kind of
Hmm.
like that. It's like these
It's yeah, very
things.
interesting. I feel that though.
Yeah,
It's stripping away from your identity. It's stripping away from your creative thought process and everything about you.
yeah.
We're all
Speaking,
becoming
mhm.
beings controlled by our phones. I would.
Yeah. Speaking of identity, I'm curious, is there like a fictitious character in some, art form or media that like you really like relate to? Like, yeah, I see myself in that person most.
Um, Not really. Well, in any entertainment form or any I don't find anyone that I look up to nowadays, in that sort of fashion.
What do
I
you
don't.
think your identity, so to speak, is? built on.
From, huh? It's
Like
interesting.
everybody is like because as we're all growing up, we're trying to like, become ourselves, but that process in some sense requires like looking at other people, kind of seeking inspiration, and over time that just kind of becomes us. We are unique, but it's like parts of those people have created us in a way. We're contrived.
Um, well, yeah, it's interesting that you talked about, we're built on parts of the people that we encounter and all that. Yeah, I was listening to a lecture by on YouTube of all places. And he was talking about how we're the product of the five people we hang out with most. So if you're really willing to, do more, find people that are doing more than you, and find people that are willing to grow and at a better stage in life than you are at, and try to befriend them and grow with them, and that's how it becomes eventually, is you do become a product of your surroundings.
Mm. When things don't go your way, what do you do about it?
When things don't go my way, um I may get anger. That I think that's an emotion that everyone encounters at times, but I don't know. I try to, though my best solution around any problem or anything going wrong is try to resolve it as best as I can, and try to seek an alternate solution if my original plan didn't work. And that's the best approach in any scenario that you encounter in life. And whenever something doesn't go your way, it doesn't mean to stop, or stop trying. Maybe there's a plan B that you hadn't thought of, or uh, it's just you have to keep giving it, you know, the effort to find that success.
Yeah. And I guess God knows what you don't know, eh? Type of thing.
Exactly. It's all that is essentially. It all
Yeah.
comes down to that. And there's points in everyone's life where you're like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this stage, you know. It's very difficult. You look back, you're like, wow, I was worried about that. I've gone through that, and now I'm where I'm at. And it's great when you look back and you realize how insignificant your worries and your problems at a certain time, or in the present situation may seem, but you'll get over it.
Yes.
Just have to keep pushing through.
I like what you said there, and it reminded me of something I was talking to some other guys about a couple days ago, and it's that your achievements, right? Like when you achieve a thing, you momentarily feel like, oh wow, like I'm on top of the mountain, but then give it a few days and whatnot, and you're like, oh well, that wasn't that impressive. There's another mountain to climb. And so the way that, I thought about it was it's kind of like the spirit of the muse. I don't know if you're familiar with the muse, but it's like an artist. There's usually like say like a woman that would be the muse, and
Mm.
that muse inspires the artist to create art. But once that art is created, the muse kind of like dies. It's like, and that spirit gets transferred to like another muse, and that muse, inspires the artist to create art. And so it's like that the muse is really just there to give birth to art. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like I don't know if you remember with like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but like that
Yeah,
Avatar spirit, it kind of gets transferred onto someone else, and its purpose is like to do that. So that's a way I've been looking at achievements, and it's like the muse, the spirit of the muse. It's just something fascinating to me.
I love that. I love that, man. I haven't really given it that type of thought, but I really love that perspective on achievements.
Yeah, thank you. I genuinely appreciate that.
Of course.
Huzaifa, this has been an awesome conversation, my friend. I'm curious, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything that you wanted to say but you felt like you didn't get a chance to, or anything on your mind that you wanted to express?
Um, I didn't get the chance to say this to you either, but you're an amazing guy. I've always enjoyed. I'm glad that we met. You've always shown great energy to me whenever I've met you as well, and there's no shortage of the amount of energy that you've provided me. Um, so I really appreciate you having you as a friend, man, and it's just been great. I hope to build more memories along the way, and yeah, it's been an amazing journey knowing you so far, man.
Thank you. It's very kind of you to say. And likewise, man. I really appreciate that. But this is really cool because we've had plenty of amazing conversations just in real life. And now here's one that is
That was cap
captured. And
exactly.
it's like,
We've had so many more of these type of conversations, and now
yes,
we have a solid, set in stone type of thing.
certainly. And it's like, it is our testament to our time and reality. So this is really cool. Thanks so much for
I
joining me, man.
love that. I love this work that you're doing, man. Keep up the great effort.
Thank you. Appreciate that, man. But I suppose until next time, Zayfa, you take care, my friend.
Inshallah, bro. Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, salam.